We're going to try a typical day in the life of a Norwegian to see if we can get a glimpse into what it might be like to live here.
Ready to be Norwegian.
As a Canadian, I'm curious to know how things work here. Next on the agenda is something I never do. I adapt my day according to what the majority of online resources deem as typically Norwegian.
Huge caveat to this. I know that not everybody in Norway or everybody living here will do all of these things. This is just like a typical day in the life.
I love this country, so I want to learn more about it. We'll adopt some essential practices, taste new food for the first time.
I don't know what this is. At first, I thought it was...
And ultimately, walk a day in someone else's shoes. Not literally, these are mine, but we will explore some nature. Our day starts pretty freaking early in order to have a typical weekday breakfast that's supposedly between 6 and 8 a.m. Good morning, friends. First stop will be breakfast. An early breakfast. Yeah, it's actually started snowing, so seems like it'll be a really nice day. It's the awkward season when you kind of have to be ready for winter, but it could also be warm out. I'm super hungry. Oh. Funny enough, I used to hate winter, but since I started my project to climb the highest peak in every European country, I've come to love the cold. And here they do it right. Heated floors and central heating that has this Canadian drooling.
Ready to be Norwegian.
Normally I eat a big breakfast at home, but in honor of getting to know the place, we're on the hunt for something local. 50 points if you can guess where we're filming.
I've got a very simple breakfast. What I learned was that they eat breakfast very early. And it's something very simple like bread with some kind of topping. So I've just chosen butter because it's kind of all they have here. And a black coffee. Normally my breakfast is a little bit bigger than this. So let's see how this goes. This is the lifestyle, we're trying it. Straight black. It is really good bread and it's got nuts in it, so a bit of fat.
Now, in a typical day, the next stop would be work. But today, my work is a little different. It's filming. So, we're going deep into the snowy forest for one of the most important aspects of Norwegian life.
And it can be described with one word. Friluftsliv. I'm sorry about my pronunciation, I'm trying my best here. It's a concept that basically means open air living or outdoor life. Norwegians incorporate outdoor activities, nature into their everyday life. It seems like it's very accessible for people to go out and just enjoy. If I've learned anything being here, is that you never ever cross onto a cross-country ski track.
No joke, it's like 9 a.m. at this point, and this guy is out enjoying a leisurely ski with his dog. We've been walking for about an hour now in the forest. It's so beautiful, just having the fjords all around, these mountains, just incredible. It's very peaceful. We made it to a little lean-to shelter.
Nice. Yeah, we found a hut. I'm hungry. I don't know how Norwegians have such a small breakfast. I couldn't help myself. These are like my favorite snacks when I come to Scandinavia. Just so good. This one is high in fiber, so that's good. It'll keep us a little bit full until lunchtime. And it's got brunost.
Norwegian brown cheese.
I would say the most typical Norwegian outdoor activity would be skiing. I've tried it here in Norway. I skied/hiked up to Galdhøpiggen, the highest peak in Norway, and actually the highest peak in Scandinavia, which is really cool. But it's not just that. Kayaking, hiking,
A picnic outside, walking the dog when it's a frosty morning, anything that gets you outside, no matter the weather. That's friluftsliv.
and it's really relaxing.
I knew I had to get a move on to do some more traditional work. I left the woods and headed back into the city.
Lunchtime. I am starving. Oh my god. I don't know how y'all do it. And I'm right on time for a typical Norwegian lunchtime. I read that Norwegians have lunch between 10:30 and 12. There's no way I'm eating lunch at 10:30. That's so early. But maybe that's my mistake. Alright, belly full, got some energy again, so ready for some work. Something I really admire about Norway is the work-life balance. I've found that there is a lot of flexibility and autonomy when it comes to working here. And actually, Nordics in general. I've never worked specifically for a Norwegian company, although actually, Solgaard was actually founded by a Norwegian Canadian. Yeah, I work with them, I make content for them, and I share their products with you. So if you're interested, they make amazing products for travelers, everyday life. Like this is like the life pack endeavor. It is my go-to whenever I travel. It keeps me organized because I'm a bit of a mess, but I can fit pretty much everything in here and it's sustainable. They use Shortex for their products. It's a type of material they developed made from plastics. So it's really cool. And if you use the code or the referral link, then the channel also gets a kickback. Right now, I have 2 full-time jobs. One where I'm an employee for a typical company. I work 40 hours a week. And then my other full-time job is creating content. So making videos on YouTube, working with brands, doing partnerships, creating things like guides and courses. I do it whenever I have spare time, essentially. And my issue is trying to find when to stop working. I'm currently on vacation from my day job, so that's why I was able to go out and film all morning. What I'm gonna try and do is incorporate this Norwegian disconnect. I'm just gonna call it that, that's not what it's called. I don't know what it's called. Whether I'm finished or not, I will stop working at that time. But before that, a really important aspect. I mean, how cool is this? A nice warm drink after lunch and before you start your work. This is Finnish coffee that I got last week. Nothing against you, Norway, I promise. It's just I don't like to waste. And this coffee maker is so cool. Okay, also, I like to dip chocolate into my coffee. If it's a crime, it's a crime. But I enjoy it.
3, 2, 1, work! I did some voiceovers, answered some emails, filmed myself fake typing, and got to top productivity levels.
2 minutes late. I'm sorry. Very nice. Calling it quits. This is the time when people typically have their dinner. Am I hungry? No. I do have to find where we're gonna eat tonight because we're not gonna have a home cooked meal. We're gonna try something authentically Norwegian. Maybe the wait time will make me hungry. Gotta commit to the process.
Process commitment engaged.
Finally found a place to eat. Apparently on Monday a lot of things are closed, so good to know. Spent a lot of time in the northern part of both Norway and Finland, so I feel like I need to do it justice and try reindeer. It's especially integral to the Sami culture. The Sami people are the only indigenous people in all of Europe, and most of them live in Norway, but you can also find them in Sweden, Finland, and northwestern Russia. So I'm gonna try this. Just for some context, I normally don't eat meat. And I'm okay with doing this when it's something like super cultural. I don't know what this is. At first, I thought it was blood. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? I think it's wine. I hope. This sauce that it's in, there's like potatoes and eggplant and mushrooms. It's really good. This is so hearty. I do know that they use the whole reindeer. Vikings did it, Sami people do it.
But still, the question remains, what is this?
It's blueberry sauce. I asked the guy. So I'm getting it to go because it's delicious, but I cannot finish it.
Luckily, the next essential way of life here doesn't involve stuffing my face. It's a pretty attractive concept, if you ask me.
Home sweet home. I've just been laughing at myself for the last 15 minutes. I can't believe I thought I was blood. Next on the agenda is something I never do. There is one more big piece to this beautiful Norwegian lifestyle puzzle, and that is kos. It could be described as simple pleasures. It's like a joyous moment. It can be something as simple as having a coffee or spending time out in nature. You can be by yourself or with friends and family. From what I gathered, the point is to kind of have these kos moments throughout the day. And if you think about it, it makes sense. The more little pleasures that you have throughout the day, the more your cup will feel filled.
A few moments later.
Time to do something that I never do. I find it very different. Part of it is getting as cozy as possible. So, okay, got my cozy pillows. We are going to engage in the famous pastime of slow TV. When I read this, I was like, what? This is a thing? The concept behind it is, of course, quite clever, actually. What you do is you put on something to do with nature normally, and you watch real-time, minute by minute, things happening in nature. Sheep grazing, a fire crackling, or this train journey. I have actually had this confirmed from patrons and from some of your comments that people do this. I don't do it because, why don't I do it? I guess because I think that it would maybe be boring and I would rather not be in front of a screen doing it and rather be outside. Let's do this.
When I commit to something, I really commit. I watch trains chugging. This cutie chomping on a midday snack.
Wow, it's mesmerizing.
And some wind dancing with clouds. We're here to experience, to live, fully immerse ourselves.
I don't know if it's for me. I don't think this would become one of my pastimes.
This is the beautiful thing about travel, isn't it? When you immerse yourself in another culture, in another land full of new people, you have the opportunity to learn and to grow as an individual. As for the meals, I'm not sure if I'm gonna incorporate this into my life.
I do think that I have a pretty good hold on when to eat and how to eat. So I think I'm just gonna continue doing my own thing. But there's lots of amazing other things that I'm gonna keep from this experience. Thanks, Norway.
Hey, you made it to the end. Watch this one or pop over to Patreon. Happy adventures, friends.